Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Shout out to the Who That Nation, man. We up in the Sports Coma, a late edition. Rocking it. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this stream, man. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share. You know, sharing is caring. As my dog DC says, shout out to the fam. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Much love, brother Brian. Pam and Whammy with shout out to the queen. I see you got your notification. Shout out to you, Shati. Big ups to the fam. Quick announcement. Before we get into the stream, I just want to let the family members know that the TSC Fantasy League will be going on this year, and the winner of the Fantasy League will win $100. So if you got Fantasy League skills, feel free to sign up. Now, I'll be dropping a link in a moment for some of our email listers to sign up for the email list. So you can get the link. We shot out maybe not too long ago, a couple of days ago, we sent out an email. I'm sending out another blast to our email listers so that they can get the email so they can sign up for the Fantasy League, for the Fantasy League people. And there'll be another, I guess, for our Patreon family members, there'll be a post there. It'll be a post in the community section for our YouTube membership family for the Sports Coma Fantasy League. I think it's about 15 slots, and you can win $100. So if you want to get down and you guys play Fantasy League and you want to rock with the Comas Fantasy League, you'll have an opportunity. Remember, we got to get it going. I'm a little late with this. Last year I didn't do it because I was so busy. My schedule was all messed up that I didn't get it to set up. I forgot to tell the family members to set it up, and I got late. This time around, I remember to do it previously, like several years prior to last year, we were doing the Sports Coma Fantasy League. This year, it don't cost you anything to get in. It's totally free to enter, and it's $100 prize. No prize for the runner-up, but the winner of the Fantasy League gets $100. So you can't beat that if you play Fantasy League. Get a cool 100. Anyway, like I said, I'll be shooting a link for you. If you join the email list, you'll get the link. I'll blast it out again later on tonight, and then or early in the morning, whenever. And then also for our YouTube membership family, I'll send it to you in the community section, and our Patreon family, you'll have it there. 15 slots, first come, first serve, $100 at the winner of this Fantasy League, just to let you know. And the fantasy draft will be, the first game will be Thursday. The NFL matchup is Thursday. I think Detroit's playing. So the Fantasy League is a weird time. I think it'll be about 1 o'clock in the morning. In the afternoon. Sorry, not in the morning, but 1 o'clock in the afternoon for you to do it. And you just, pop in there and do your thing. I know it's kind of weird, but I kind of got caught up with my schedule. So shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all. All right, big ups to everybody. Shati, L Dub, Quavadius, God's Appointed One, J Live. What's popping, fam? Kelvin Washington from Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to my dog, Kelvin. All right, OG Jerry K. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all and everybody, man, for being here. What's up, Stacy? Shout out to you, Queen. Appreciate you. All right, and the rest of the fam, appreciate everybody being up in this thing as well. All right, so much love to the fam. as we get popping up in this thing. So we'll start off with the Saints injury list, man, and a lot of stuff been going on, man. We always seem to get some surprises. Not so much on the injury list, but we'll cover the Jake Haener thing momentarily. We'll get in there. We'll play a couple of interviews from Dennis Allen, what he talked about today. We'll react to Derek Carr, Jamal Williams, and then we'll get Peyton Turner's commentary as well and see what they think about as they get closer and closer for the first week, the week one game against the Tennessee Titans. We'll have a Tennessee Titan podcast coming in here pretty soon so they can spit game about their squad as well. So just letting y'all family members know what time it is. All right, so let's get into it. Injury report for Wednesday. Of course, we'll roll a list. You see 6 players from the Saints listed on the Wednesday injury report, the first one of the season. How about that? Our first injury list of the season goes as thusing. Wide receiver Tre'Quan Smith. How about that? Groin. He had the groin surgery. He's DNP'd. Safety JT Gray with the shoulders DNP'd. Running back Kendre Miller with the knee is DNP'd as well. And good news is LaMarshawn Lattimore with the knee was limited. Ryan Ramczyk has a rest day. He was listed, and I'm gonna have to look at that, man, because it's an injury list, but you got they do that from time to time, throw people on there, but they got rest listed for Ramczyk and Jimmy Graham. We know Ryan Ramczyk has been dealing with injury over the last couple of years that has really kind of hurt the hell out of his production as the offensive. He was one of the more, that guy was one of the more fierce offensive linemen in the league. And whatever's going on with Ramczyk, these injury situation, man, I just wish this man becomes 100% because we need the old Ram, the one before the Saints gave him the paper. That's the guy that we want to be here to play, man. Really, really need Ramczyk this year to just get right, man. Get right. Like I know a lot of family members, it's fun to take pop shots at Tre'Quan Smith or Zach Bowen, or some of these other guys. But let me tell you something. They're not shooting at Ryan Ramczyk. We can pop shot at Andrus Peat. We can kind of, take little fun jabs at other players, but nobody taking shots at Ramczyk. He's kind of immune to a lot of the pop shotting that's going on, but not for me. I see Ram, man, is totally different play style. And it's like he's been dealing with these injuries ever since he got that bread, man. Ever since the Saints paid Ramczyk, man, he has not been close to what he was before we broke him off, man. So hopefully he gets back to that. On the Tennessee Titans side of things, cornerback Trey Avery is a hamstring issue. He was limited. Linebacker Harold Landry is pretty good, was limited with the abdomen problem. Offensive lineman Dylan Radness, knee, he was limited. And, of course, 3 fully practiced players. Treylon Burks, who's a young, interesting wide receiver, has knee issues. He fully practiced. Linebacker Arden Key, calf issue. He fully practiced. That's LSU guy. Quarterback Will Levis, who had a quadricep, fully practiced as well. We know eventually Will Levis will be the guy that will take the quarterback Tannehill's job eventually for the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people looking at that to see how that's going to fold going forward. Very interesting move the Tennessee Titans made during the draft. So anyway, that is our injury report as we see for those players in week number 1, first of the season. Not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty much what we expected. We see Jameis is not on there, so that's good news as well. So let's move into a real big story right here that happened with the black and gold, man. And that's with Jake Haener, man. What happened with Jake Haener? That was a surprise out of left field like a son of a gun. I'm not going to tell you no different. That was a really shocker right there that Saints QB Jake Haener addresses his 6-game PED suspension. He had released a statement. So we'll cover some of the news for those who might not have heard. A shout out to Niles Carpenter. In an unexpected turn of events, the Saints will be navigating the early part of the 2023 NFL season without the services of their promising rookie quarterback Jake Haener. Former Fresno State standout has been slapped with a 6-week suspension for violating the league's strict policy on performance-enhancing drugs, as reported by the NFL's official transaction wire. Haener, who had quite an impression during his collegiate career, managed to secure a spot on the Saints' 53-man roster despite stiff competition, expressed his disappointment and issued a statement via social media following the suspension. And this is the tweet that he placed out there, that he said, I recently learned that I tested positive for a substance banned by the NFL earlier this summer. I still do not know how the substance got into my body, as none of my supplements or prescribed medications contain the banned ingredient. I would love, he says, I would never knowingly cheat the game that I love. However, I must take full responsibility for the failed test. I apologize to the Saints organization, my friends, and my family for any distraction this suspension may cause. I am disappointed to be away from the team for the coming weeks, but I will learn and grow from this experience. I look forward to returning to the team as soon as possible. Jake. So shout out to Jake on that for keeping it a $1.15. Stuff happens. We got to keep it moving. So he took responsibility for his actions, man, and this just is what it is. Now, his suspension comes at a critical juncture for the Saints. Now, remember, Jake Haener, for the most part, was just going to be holding the clipboard, right? You know, we see Jameis Winston's not on the injury list. He had the wrist issue. He's fine. Good news. Derek Carr's ready. Jameis is the primary backup. Well, you see, the switcheroo is with the Taysom Hill is there, and then of course Jameis is there. So we got three capable guys that can hold the position down. We know that Derek Carr is the main guy. We know that Taysom is going to be in the game more than Jameis, to be honest with you, because simply put, that Taysom runs the Taysom Hill play packages. He comes in there and he pretends to be a quarterback, and then he turns into a running back and runs over several guys along the line of scrimmage. He gets his yardage the hard way at times, but it works for Taysom. So hopefully he learns to throw that thing a little bit more than what he did in the past. So we'll see a lot of Derek Carr first, and then, of course, Taysom Hill comes out there. So I think the Saints will be all right. And Jake Haener, pretty much this would have been a year where Jake Haener he just stands there with the clipboard. He'll be out for 6 games, and he'll be back. So very interesting there. He did a pretty decent job in preseason to kind of help his toll out there, but we'll just have to wait till that happens. And the Saints are in there. They'll be okay without Jake Haener, let me tell you. All right, so anyway, let's keep it bucking and moving, man. Let's start off with Dennis Allen. He had something to say today about the practice and everything going on. Let's hear from ODA on the latest. Here we go.
We got a huge challenge this week against a really good football team. I mean, it's a team that started off the season last year 7-3, and then their quarterback went out and lost the last 7 games. But this is a really good football team that we're playing, and on both sides of the ball and in the kicking game. So it'll be a huge test for us opening up the season in the Dome.
Yeah, I noticed Taysom was listed as a QB on the roster. Is there a reason that you guys changed that from tight end?
Probably more of a clerical thing than anything else. But, Taysom took, I think, about almost 50% of his snaps last year at the quarterback position. So I don't know that there's anything really to that other than he kind of plays a lot of different positions.
Did he take that many snaps? 50-something% of the quarterback snaps were taken by Taysom. Was it really that much? I don't remember it being that much, but Dennis Allen says 50% of the QB snaps it was. So, I mean, for whatever reason, I don't recollect that. I didn't realize it was that much. Perhaps it was. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the chat. Here we go.
Does that have anything to do with like the emergency QB roles, like just how you guys might configure?
Well, I think when you look at it and you say he plays almost 50% of his snaps at the quarterback position, we just listed him there.
How much was Marshawn able to work in?
He was limited today, so we'll see where he's at on Wednesday.
Dennis, from a defensive standpoint, what's the first thing for Tennessee that you got to stop?
Well, I don't think there's any question that,
Y'all wrong. Jake the Junkie. Yeah. Oh, y'all are wrong, man. Jake the Junkie. Cut it out, man.
This team runs a lot of their offense through the running game, particularly Derrick Henry. Obviously, with Tajay Spears being there now, they've got a couple of different runners that they can utilize. But you have to be able to stop, the run, play action game, and, hopefully get them into some longer yardage situations. So that'll be a big part of what we do.
Is his size, does that make how you play, where you might play a different running back a different way? Do you have to play him differently?
Well,
because of how big he
I
is?
would say you got to get 11 guys around the ball, because I think they led the league in terms of, yards after contact in the running game. And so he's a really good back, strong, physical, has great speed. He's able to break the long ones. And then they utilize him in the screen game too. I think that's important. They do a really good job on a lot of their play action screen game.
Because I don't think you all faced him either time, last time you played. Does that make it even more of a challenge as having never actually played?
Well, I don't know that, it'll be our first experience seeing him up live and in person. So it's probably easier to defend him when he wasn't on the field. But yeah, look, he's a dynamic back. He's one of the better backs in our league, so it'll be a challenge for us.
Is there a characteristic of a Mike Vrabel coach team?
Yeah, tough, smart, disciplined. They play a lot of close games. They don't beat themselves. They take advantage of when their opponents make mistakes. So I think they're generally one of the more physical teams that plays in our league.
Is it the fact that Taysom, when you had a certain amount of snaps last year and your record was really good, does that figure into how you might, even though you have a new quarterback, but
Yeah, I think all those things play into account. We'll have a game plan to utilize all of our, skilled players. Try to put our guys always in the best position to have success. And so, we'll have a plan to be able to utilize him. How we utilize him may change from week to week, but certainly he'll be a big part of what we're trying to do.
You guys able to give an update on Kendra Miller?
No, there'll be an injury report come out on Wednesday, so
I'm assuming that you guys don't expect him to play, or that's still.
I wouldn't make any assumptions.
Do you feel like y'all have more varied weapons on offense that you can draw on this season compared to last season?
Yeah, look, we got Mike Thomas back. Obviously, he adds an element to our offense. I think we got a couple of young receivers that, are going into their second year that have a chance to take a step forward. We've got varied weapons at the tight end position, some different things that we can utilize at the running back position. So yeah, I think we have more weapons offensively, and we'll try to put them in the best position to utilize them, and hopefully have some success with that.
I know Tim Kelly was there last year, but first year in the OC role. Like, when you're going against a new OC, do you have to almost be more prepared to adjust on the fly?
Yeah, look, I think anytime you go into the first game of the year, teams don't usually show a lot in the preseason, so it's hard to really get an evaluation of exactly what they want to do. I think there's probably some core principles that will remain the same. I don't expect to see, a totally different offense, but yeah, we'll have to be able to adjust to whatever they're doing and kind of get a feel for how he's going to call the game.
how much better do you think you are offensively?
Well, I think we'll find out. I feel confident in where we're at offensively. I like what I've seen all throughout training camp and in the preseason. So I think we're in a good spot.
Dennis, I know it's goofy and I'm sorry. Do you feel any different at this point this year than last year? Is there a level of comfort that you can maybe detect in yourself that's, you feel a little bit more comfortable in the role this year than last year or not?
Look, I get asked that question a lot. I would just say I'm confident in our football team. I think we've had a really good camp. I think we've executed at a high level, really in all three phases throughout training camp. And so I feel confident in what this team's able to do.
Is getting off to, like, you just referenced the team that got off to a good start and then dealt with some issues last year.
Yeah.
I know that most of the success here, maybe in 17, it was always a good start.
Yeah, I think, look, you know, a lot of times people talk about must-win games and things of that nature, and so I would never say that this is a must-win game. You know, I think getting off to a good start is important, but yet it's not the end-all, be-all in terms of where you finish the season. But yeah, I think anytime you get a chance to start off fast and you know, hopefully stack some wins together early on in the season. When you know you're going to face some adversity, you know you're going to face some injury issues as the season wears on, banking a few wins is always good.
You never quite know.
Dennis Allen, fam. Shout out to Dennis Allen, man, giving some knowledge and on the game, man. We're going to keep it moving. Let's hear from Derek Carr on the next one, man. And he talks about some of the stuff that he got to do coming up in the Tennessee Titans game. This is going to be very interesting, man, to be honest with you, because it's pretty cool, man. Because the guys, you know, yesterday, man, we had a really great show on TSC Patreon Live for the family members who want to check it out, become a member of the YouTube channel, or simply go to patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. Enjoyed it there. And it's tons of lot content there on Patreon, the On Cue with Big Q show, the TSC Live Patreon, film work, all that kind of stuff. And during the season, we'll be doing some film work there. I'll bring some guest hosts in there and we'll talk about some of the schematics and plays and things like that, breaking some of the stuff down during the season. So it'll be fun. So it's pretty cool. But listening to what Dennis Allen was saying and then bringing in Derek Carr, chip on the shoulder, hears all of the stuff, not running away from it, understands and knows that he's been in the league for 10 years. And we played this clip from the Shine show. Adam Shine, I think the man in is one of the reporters from Sirius Radio. Derek Carr was on the show the other day. Played the entire interview. Was pretty cool listening to how he thought about some of his teammates, and he talked about Elvin Kamara being the best athlete I think he said that he ever played with during his career. So the guy has some really good tools, and I just keep saying this because this is what hit my spirit about him. What I interpret as him making a jump from being a Raider to being a Saint, and what that could mean could be similar to what you've seen with Stafford with the Lions to the Rams. I think that's a fair assessment. And to be honest with you, not just statistically speaking, I'm talking about him with everything that he has, taken his team to a deep playoff run, into having success that he never experienced with the Raiders. So it's going to be fun watching him. Let's listen to Derek Carr, man, as we keep it going. Shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit the like button for me.
Kind of get the second part of your career with DA. What's the difference between that Derek Carr and this Derek Carr?
Well, I'm not a rookie. We're always learning, but I was learning a whole lot then, and had no idea what I was getting myself into, all those kind of things that all rookies deal with. But I just feel like I'm more now the quarterback I wanted to be for him then, and hopefully, I could be, successful and help him have more success. That's ultimately what I want to do, is just see him succeed. And I believe in him so much, and it's a big reason why I came.
Along those lines, just how do you feel like you've evolved from, obviously we know the situation with the Raiders and leaving there, and now you've had a full training camp. Just how are you feeling heading into the season with the Saints, and maybe your confidence level in yourself? Yeah, I feel very confident. That is one thing about me. I will never lose confidence whether it goes really great or doesn't go so great. I always believe in myself and believe what I can do, but we've put a lot of work in since phase 1 in April and all the way through until now, and I'm very confident, but that doesn't always equal wins. I just want to go out there, compete, play good football, play the type of football I know that I'm capable of, the type of football I've been playing all off season, through training camp and the preseason, and hopefully be able to continue that in the regular season. But it's going to be tough because we got a good matchup this week.
Derek,
you had one series in the preseason, one successful series in the preseason. Is that enough to, have that confidence to go into a season opener with the live bullets, even though you haven't had as much work in the preseason with this offense?
If that was the only work that I had, I would say no, it's not enough. But with the joint practices, going against our defense and the way that we practice, in a normal scenario, the intensity in which we practice and compete against each other. I mean, you guys see it sometimes. It's different, than what I've been used to. So it felt like live bullets every day. Guys getting close and bumping into you while you're making throws and all that kind of stuff. And will there be bumps? Maybe. There's always week one. You'll go to week two and be like, oh, I can't believe what am I doing? There's always those kind of things. But hopefully not that much. Playing in the preseason was a first for me for a while. So just being able to get to do that was really exciting for me. One, and two, just kind of get that first wave of playing live football out of the way, and then now hitting the real thing this week.
I think this is the third year they've had a 17 regular season schedule. So how much more impactful has that shortened preseason with the training with other teams, the cross practices, and how much more impactful has that been? The joint practices.
I love joint practices because you get game-like looks. Teams are more willing to show certain things. Different blitzes, all that kind of stuff. You get multiple coverages. They kind of scheme you up a little bit. Whereas in the preseason, you're just running your basic stuff. You're not showing anything. You're just really seeing who can rush, who can cover, who can block, who can catch, who can throw. It's very, very pretty simple. And the game isn't easy, but I would say that preseason they just don't want to show as much, right? Whereas for me as a veteran, I like it. Now, if I'm a young player trying to make a team, you don't get as many reps in those practices. You would want 7 preseason games, to show what you can do and get better. So there's always what's better, and I leave that up to people smarter than me to figure out, and I'll just show up and just keep doing my job.
There are a lot of veterans on this team, but
yeah.
You're part of a new group of it. You're all trying to mesh together. To what degree do you think this team is, or the offense rather, is where you'd like it to be heading into week one?
Yeah, I would say we'll see. We have to go do it in the games. I like how we practice. I like the level of execution, the demand from everybody, the sense of urgency that everybody has. There's no pulling teeth here. Everybody's on it. Mickey and DA wouldn't allow it. And so they bring guys in here that love to work. They're here early. When I get here early, I'm pulling up the same time, and there's a wave of us pulling up, and I was like, this is what it should be. And there's a lot of work and studying that needs to be done. When I go home here in a little bit, the work doesn't stop, and the same thing for our guys. So I like where we're at in that aspect. Now we got to go play the football games when it really matters. And so, but as a team, I feel like we're close, real united, same purpose, same mindset. Everybody on the same page, got each other's back, all those good things that you want to see going into a football season.
Foster told us a story just now that it helped him, I guess, when he was a rookie, that you told him, they don't put, review mirrors on spaceships. I guess, going into orbit and we're not looking back. Is that still kind of your mindset, kind of maybe the genesis of that? How you gave it to him and why you think that way?
I would take everything Foster says with a grain of salt. And but he never lies. The imagery just may be a little different. He's a better storyteller than I am, but I try my best with the young guys. I say I'm 32, I'm the old guy, right? In a locker room full of young guys, I've always tried my best to tell them we never look back. Whatever happened, we move on, we keep playing. Whether it was good, whether it's bad, you correct it. You work hard, you do all the things right that they're asking you to do, and then some, and you just keep going. And Foster's one of those guys that I loved from the beginning. He didn't say much his rookie year. He came in and just worked his butt off, and he's a guy now that rookies could learn a lot from. That he can be like, look, this is how I did it, this is how I've made a career for myself. And he's one heck of a player, and I can't wait to watch him play this year here.
September is always, NFL's cruel to teams that don't start well in September. I know you're aware of that. Is that, you think this month is critical as far as what you guys are trying to get established?
Everyone wants to start fast. There's no doubt about that. For me, myself included, I want to start fast. Come out the gates hot. Everybody's preaching that. Everybody wants to do that. The fact is that this week half the teams are going to win, half the teams are going to lose. And Does that mean the season's over? Absolutely not. I've had a coach fired, mid-season, and we still made the playoffs. That was right after September. And they told us that it had never been done before. Well, we were that team that went and made the playoffs. We're the only ones to do it. And so I think I've been through too much to say that if this happens or that happens, it's over or it's great. I'm going to show up and give my best every day. And I know this team will too. And hopefully we start fast, but you want to finish even better.
How eager are you to just get this thing going?
Yeah, I'm just ready to play. I was talking to the guys today. We had a bonus Monday. Here's another Wednesday practice. All these things, and it's week 1, and it finally feels like this is what all the work was for. You can feel like a sense of urgency, but you can feel a sense of peace too. That it's that calmness before it really gets going. That we know the level of expectation we have for each other. We know the level of expectation we have personally. And you can feel that in every guy when you walk through. Everyone's confident, but there is that urgency that everyone's coming to work with. And it's exciting because you can feel like everyone's ready to just cut it loose and let it go.
How different is it?
Yes. That reminds me of this, fam. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hit it. Spaceships don't come with rear view mirrors. Always love that lyric. Spaceships don't come equipped with rear view mirrors, they dip. And I love that. Andre, shout out to Andre 3000, man, on that one, man. Love that. If you have an experience, a negative experience as a team, you learn the lesson and you keep it going. I love that. I always thought that was pretty good. All right, so let's finish up a few with Derek Carr. We'll move on to Jamal Williams momentarily. Here we go.
Not having Alvin around, or how do you sort of make up for not having a guy like that?
Well, you can never just replace Alvin. AK he's become one of my favorite football players, become one of my favorite teammates. He's unbelievably brilliant football mind. He sees the game so well. And you guys see the physical attributes, but just the character and the teammate, just love him, right? And it sucks that we can't be around and talk with him right now and all those kind of things, but football is the ultimate next man up. It's a team game. Alvin be the first one to tell you it's a team game. So, if I wasn't here, if he's not here, tomorrow, anybody, the Saints are still going to continue to go on. Charles Woodson always told me, when he left the Raiders are still going to continue to play football, and that's the same mindset that I've always had, that no matter what, and the message was, no matter what, you just got to keep going and go try and win no matter the situation, because at the end of the day, nobody cares. And so, we love Alvin. We care about him as a brother. He's our teammate. He's our friend. He's our family. But right now, he won't be there, so we got to go play football and look forward to winning. Hopefully get a couple wins, and then he can come back.
What's your impressions of Jamal?
Love Jamal. Again, great teammate. I'm sure you guys enjoy him. He's a very entertaining guy, but when he puts the helmet on and walks between those lines, you could tell he's all business. And, you appreciate that as a teammate for sure.
Let me tell you something. Carr is absolutely right, man. Because you listen to Jamal Williams during those press conferences, and we're gonna play him momentarily. Love that guy. I love his mentality, but that's a different dude when he put that helmet on. That careful, free, loving spirit, that all goes out the window, and then this barbarian, focused warrior appears and just tears everything up. 17 rushing touchdowns for the Detroit Lions last year. Huge. So I concur on that. That's definitely a bit of duality going on there mentally with Jamal, the fun-loving guy, versus Jamal, the hammer, So that's true. We'll play him in a minute. Hold on.
Sure.
So your opposite number in this game, Tannehill had changed teams.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to have been very beneficial.
Yeah.
And in that vein, did you get a chance to talk to anybody like him about what to expect in a new team, what the benefits can be of change of scenery?
Yeah, I've talked to a few guys, and just personally, and just to keep their personal stories, I won't say their names, but yeah, I talked to some guys about you know, you fall in love with one place, you give them all that you have for almost a decade, you know, and now all of a sudden it's gone, and you got to go. You know, do you want to go do it somewhere else? You know, your heart is so much there, you know, and you're torn, and those emotions. So yeah, I had people I talked to about that for sure, and how they dealt with it, how they, you know, did certain things, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm here, and so you could tell what those people talked about, and you know, the advice that was given, and you know, I thought it was wise counsel. You know, I wasn't trying to make a decision all by myself. I sought out people I know had been through that situation, because it was the first time for me, and so I'm just excited, man. You know, to start over. You know, I get everything I do is the first time here, so I'm just trying to, you know, not trying to prove anybody any wrong. I'm just trying to prove Mickey, DA, Pete, my teammates right. You know that you know, this city of New Orleans, trying to prove them right. You know that this was a good decision, and I look forward to doing that hopefully all season.
Derek, you.
I like the kid, man. I think he's going to do fine here. I like him. I think he's going to do good. I like his mentality. I like his work ethic. I like how he handles the media. I like his confidence. I think the guy's going to be all right, man. The fact that a lot of people talk about the Raiders organization, he owns that. He don't run away from that. They unceremoniously marched him out. In essence, he's a ride or die type of guy because he was trying to stay with the Raiders. He did speak about not wanting to play anywhere else. Remember last year this was happening when he was with the Raiders. He wanted to retire as a Raider until, you know, all this happened, and they kind of peeved him off, and he decided to do his thing, and now he's here starting over again with everybody else. So this is going to be fun. It's a fresh breath of fresh air for Derek Carr and us as well. We love quarterbacks that can throw the deep ball, get it out there. We got wide receivers that can go and get it. We got the skilled players all around. No disrespect to the Raider dynasty, the Raider family, but y'all know it's, you know, no disrespect, but you know, people were saying in the comment section, man, we had Tim Brown and Jerry Rice and Rich Gannon and all this kind of stuff when they had a loaded offense, and I'm like, that's fine and all those, but those dudes was 100 years old when you had them over there. They were still productive, don't get me wrong, but Jerry Rice was at the back end of his career. So was Tim Brown. So, I mean, they had some interesting teams, but this is different. This is not to take nothing away from it, but y'all know, like I know, what the Saints are putting around this man is something next level. He has to just execute and do what needs to be done, man, and we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, like what he's doing, man. All right. So, anyway, let's keep it bucking, man. Here goes Jamal Williams.
Till Sunday. That's all.
You know, what do you feel like your role's going to be Sunday? Because obviously, you know, there's no album. We don't know Kendre's status, and you know that probably puts a little bit more of the load on you.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just go in and do my job. That's pretty much it. So I just do my job. That's pretty much it. Don't put no extra pressure on myself. Just go out there when it's time for me to make a play, go make a play. So.
How are you approaching this season maybe differently than you were last year in Detroit?
How can I say? Shoot, do my job. I got too many great players around me for me to think that I got to do something out of my character. So I'm just grateful to be on a great team with a lot of great players that, you know how to take responsibility, be professionals, and, you know, just get things done. So I just do me.
You believe this is an offense you could thrive in? I mean, it sounds like it.
Oh, most definitely. When you have, you know, receivers that are threats and we throwing the ball and just getting people out of the box is what I really want to get. So the more people we get out of the box, the more I feel more comfortable. I really don't care who's in the box, but as long as we get less people in the box, I can be able to make more plays. But I'm just grateful to be on a team with a lot of weapons.
Are you okay if it's a large workload for you in the first couple of weeks? Do you look forward to that maybe?
Who don't? You don't. I don't know how. I'm sorry if my face look like this. I'm just tired. But just take every opportunity you get and just go from there. So I'm just grateful for them to have trust in me to go out there and do my job, and that's what I'm gonna
do. I would say no question is a dumb question, you know. But you know, whatever. But Jamal Williams, listen, fam. This guy's ready, man. I'm just so excited about Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams being on the same team, complementing each other in this offense. So excited about that. I think this tandem could be something really special. I know we got Kendre Miller as a third running back there, but I really love the addition of Jamal Williams. I've said that. I think the contract was really good for us to get him. This is probably my favorite move. I got several moves that I like that the Saints made this year, but I really love the Jamal Williams signing. I was been saying that all season. I thought that was so huge that they picked this guy up, because we knew for a while that Elvin Kamara would be facing some time off. We knew that, and ultimately it happened. Now we are looking for something to happen with Marcus May. It's getting close. Perhaps we'll get word on that later on this week, perhaps into next week. I don't know, but we know Marcus May stuff is supposed to come down the line sooner or later. What he pleaded out on his case. So we'll see what the league does with that. But the Jamal Williams signing was so huge for the Saints. I absolutely love the move. I love the move. It's probably my favorite move of the offseason. A lot of people like the Carr signing. But I absolutely love the Jamal Williams signing. It was tremendous. He will be fine in a featured role carrying the team. Of course, the Saints, we'll see what happened with Kendre Miller. We'll see what the Saints do in the running back room. We know Kirk Merritt was dealing with a hamstring issue. He wasn't listed on that injury report, so that's a positive that we'll have him. The Kendre Miller, we've seen him there, but it's going to be fine. I love Jamal Williams signing, man. I think that'll be key. He's definitely psyched and ready to go, man.
Any extra responsibility for you?
No. No.
No?
Nah. Anything else? Anything else?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just playing ball. That's all.
The things you wanted to show or improve on when you came here, do you feel like you were able to do those things in training camp or show those things?
Nah, it's just training camp. They'll see it in the game. So that's all. I'm not a real a talker about it. I just go out there and just do it, and then after it's done, then I just keep on pushing. So I just ready to play, honestly. It's been a long training camp. So I'm just ready to play, hit somebody else, and just go from there, and then, stack these wins and then go on. So
yeah, amen to that, man. It's been it's time for some football. And then the crazy part about it is we finally get through the preseason. The NFL has this dumb thing where it has a week in between the first. I think that's totally ridiculous. That's just, to me, it was foolish. Like, you cut the preseason down, then you have a week between the end of the preseason and the start of regular season. That was just, I enjoyed my college football, don't get me wrong, but I think that's just stupid what the NFL do. It should all flow together, but whatever. All right, shout out to Charles, T Dirty, and the rest of the fam, brother Eric, Slim, Tuck. Good to see Tuck Raff in the building. Shout out to you people. Appreciate you, Queen. All right, much love to the fam. Gundam, brother Baraka, Poppy 504. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for being here. You, VC Radiation, Pops TG, and the rest of the fam. Charles says BG is free. He's going to be in the building. Yeah, B Jizzle is free. I seen that, man. I seen him, man. He been locked up for a while. I seen some of the videos of him and the Birdman welcoming out of the jail. So shout out to B Jizzle. Had an opportunity to meet BG a couple of times, man. And I don't know, man. What years was that? Right after Katrina? No. Right before Katrina. That's what it was. It was right before Katrina when he had his studio in that. I forgot the name of the building. It was across the canal, not across the canal, but the Danziger Bridge. They had a high-rise building, right where the Swagman, it's right in front of what used to be Swagman. It's a storage unit place or whatever it is now. And he had a studio in there. And I remember he was doing Chopper City Records, and I had the opportunity to meet him. I had a store around that area, the Dauman area at the time. And a couple of his artists would frequent the store. So had a chance to meet him. Pretty cool, man, man. So shout out to B Jizzle. I'm glad he's free, man. Hopefully he can get his crib back on track, man. Moving forward, yeah. But Jamal Williams, man, is ready to play ball. I'm excited about seeing him play. He's excited, and it's just time to get it shaking and baking. Let's move on. Let's talk about defense. Let's hear from a defensive end. named Peyton Turner about what he feels, what he needs to do against the Tennessee Titans. They talking about Derrick Henry and stopping the run. That'll be a big thing. What's going on with the New Orleans Saints and how they deal with the Tennessee Titans, because them people coming in there and they're going to want to try to establish the run with Henry. And then, of course, you have Tajay Spears there. They have the Hopkins. They brought him in here during free agency. Treylon Burks is another wide receiver that has some skill. And these people do have some pieces around them. So, but everything we know is all on the back of Derrick Henry. So the Saints, and this is a very difficult back, the most difficult back in the NFL to stop is this guy. And the Saints will have to deal with him. So we'll see what needs to be done. Here's Peyton Turner to talk about it.
You go into this regular season, what are you hoping to do in the season opener?
Just contribute to the team, be consistent, whatever my role is, affect the quarterback. I think the biggest thing this week, it's not so much about affecting the quarterback, it's about getting to the point where you can affect the quarterback. This is a run-first team. They got a great running back, good scheme. So just us doing our job, I want to live this defense and fit where we need to fit. I think it's going to lead to success for us on game day.
How beneficial has it been for you, or how excited are you to have had a healthy offseason to be able to get through all the program and to feel as good as you feel right now?
Yeah, I feel great. I wish I could tell you this first, though, right? So I'm excited, though. I feel like I've been building on everything I've done week in, week out, just stacking days and come out here and just trying to perform at the highest level I can. So I'm excited.
This is a team that wants to challenge you on the ground. Obviously, they got Derrick Henry, they got Tajay Spears. What are you guys hoping to do to slow down the run? Because in the NFL, if you can't stop the run, it's going to be hard to stop much.
Yeah, we're going to see it all day. So it's two different backs for sure. But like I said, it's just about us doing what we need to do, whether it's coming up under the block or stand outside, setting the edge. It's going to be, I think the biggest emphasis this week is just being violent at the point of attack. Whether you get a double, turn single, or you just get a one-on-one base block. So just winning your down, and then everybody just converging on the ball.
How cohesive has this defensive line been able to be going through training camp and OTAs together?
Yeah, we got some new pieces, so just getting everybody on the same page, I think, is probably the biggest thing. And but the way we're clicking, I think we meshed pretty well through this training camp. It's gonna be early in the season, so there's gonna be things we got to clean up. But I'm just looking forward to getting out there with everybody.
All right, Peyton Turner, y'all. And we'll see how it all looks, man, because that'll be the point of emphasis going into this game. Like the past couple of years, man, really last year's kind of signified or spotlighted the fact that the Saints weren't a very good run defense team. They didn't do very well. They allowed over 120 yards rushing per game. Not every game, but when it all ended the way it did, the averages ended out because some games the Saints did better than others. But the reality is those guys are gone. The interior defensive line that allowed that disastrous total is out of here. David Onyemata, Shy Tuttle, and Kentavious Street are gone. In comes Colin Sanders. In comes Nate Shepard and Brian Rasee. So you have these new guys in here, and I love those three guys together. I think ultimately, you'll see them gel, and they really look pretty good during the training camp and into preseason and the times that we did see them there. And the question mark is, can the Saints interior run stuffing unit improve? And I'm like, yeah, they couldn't do no worse than what they did last year, right? So this new unit in here, Dennis Allen had and Mickey Loomis had a mentality or an approach on making sure not just having big plotting interior defensive linemen, but having guys that also push the pocket. So you have a Colin Sanders, you have a Nate Shepard. They fight for every inch of yard out there. You have Brian Brissy, same way. So you have big physical guys, and then Malcolm Roach fits right in with them. So you have these big interior guys. Not only do they just cram up and jam up the middle and make it difficult for you to run there, they also provide a inside push that helps the guys on the outside. Sometimes they can perhaps flush quarterbacks out from the center and move them out toward the edge. So, and no quarterback, none of them, even the great Tom Brady, liked when we get pressure up the center of the offensive line. We did that in the times that we were able to beat Tom Brady when he played with the Buccaneers. We were able to just get the pressure directly up the center of the offensive line. He had nowhere to go. He was a statue back there anyway. So we were able to get to him and rattle him and get him on up out of the way. So we'll love to see more of that this upcoming year. That'll help the edge guys out as well. So it'll be fun watching it, but a big test. This is a huge test for the Saints run stuff defense going up against Derrick Henry, who's healthy and ready to roll. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Mark is asking, is it true that the Saints O-line will be weak this season? I own Olave on a few fantasy sports team. I think Olave will do fine. I don't think the Saints offensive line is weak. In essence, the Saints offensive line, they've brought all those guys back because Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen, they've said this before, and they said it multiple times that they wanted continuity to be the state of mind for that offensive line. They wanted those guys to be familiar playing together. So they decided to bring all of them back. That's what the Andrews Pete move was, to kind of keep those guys together for at least another year. The continuity on the offensive line was big, especially when you're bringing in a new quarterback, or not a new quarterback, but a free agent quarterback to sit behind said line. So you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of change going on that offensive line, and you just put that guy in there almost like a plug and play feature. You plug him in there, and him and Carr and Eric McCoy has gotten along really well. There haven't been, I've been looking at it, has been no issues with the center to quarterback exchange. That's been rather seamless. And the times that we watched them play, he looked really comfortable back there. So we won't truly get a true grasp on Carr, until and I'd be cautioning family members just not to take the first game that he plays, or even the second game. It's going to take them at least 2 to 3 games for the Saints offense to really start gelling and cooking. So by the time we get out of that first month of NFL football for the Saints, we'll start to really see our team take an identity or take form, and you'll start seeing a lot of that chemistry and that synergy and all that build together. So like I said, because this is the first time we'll see him, and it's going to be like a regular season preseason type thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, we see all those guys because they hadn't played in any really meaningful action but one damn drive. So to expect them to catch fire for the whole game, that's unrealistic, to be honest with you, because there are going to be some mistakes made. I ain't going to lie to you. I wouldn't be surprised if this will be a little sloppy at first because of the extended action factor, and they have to kind of iron out all of the wrinkles. So I'm kind of tempering my expectations on that very first game, because I know that's how it usually is. So sometimes when you get that first game, it's penalties. It's kind of some rust going on. People got to figure out how this guy play, how that guy play. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes, it may take 1 or 2 games for them to kick in and get that rhythm. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So just to throw that in there. But the Saints offensive line, I wouldn't buy that, Mark. I think the offensive line for the Saints will be fine. Matter of fact, I think it'll be one of the strengths for the team. The guard, Andrews is benched. He has some injury situation, but James Hurst, the veteran, the swing tackle, who's now starting, he's there now, and he's a pretty damn good guard. I love Hurst as the guard. So Ruiz did well last year. Eric McCoy is Eric McCoy. He's sturdy and one of the best centers in the game. Nobody really talking about the man. He just got paid. Trevor Penning needs to stay healthy, but he has all of the talents needed to really be a dominating tackle. Ryan Ramczyk is the person that I believe is probably Eric McCoy is the best Saints offensive lineman right now. Ramczyk has taken a step back, maybe 2 steps, maybe 3 steps back because of all the stuff that he's dealing with, the injuries and all that kind of stuff. And man, I don't know a Ramczyk. I just want to see him become the Ram of yesteryear, the guy that before we gave him all that damn money. I want to see that Ramczyk. So hopefully we can get that Ramczyk. If we can get that Ramczyk along with what we got, this line will be one of the top 5, top 10 offensive lines in the league. But continuity was big, especially when you have a free agent quarterback comes into the building. You want to be able to protect him and then be able to provide opening lanes or running lanes for your running backs to do, and time for your quarterback to go over his progressions and stuff like that. So thank you, Mark. All right, Quaveda says this game will need to be won in the trenches. Titans has a really good pass rush, and they can get to the QB from the inside out. Plus, that big interior defensive tackle, man, we're going to talk about that, man, as we get into the week. Like I said, I'm going to bring some Tennessee Titan podcasters in, and they'll break down their team. We'll go over it with them. And man, yes, what's that big sucker on the inside? What's his name? Is it Simmons? I won't see his name is. Yeah, they're an interesting team, man. To be honest with you, plus they can get plus they must. He said plus he must get to Tannehill, knocking him off will destroy his in any play action. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you on that. Shout out. Tuck says, I saw earlier the Saints have never faced the Titans with Derrick Henry. That's right. I remember the last time the Titans and the Saints play, he was hurt. I think wasn't that at the end of the season, like one of the games where the Saints faced off against the Titans, and we thought he was going to play that game, and they pulled him out of that. He was supposed to play. We thought he was going to play, and then he didn't play, and we beat the Titans. And I remember him standing on the sideline. So getting to see Derrick Henry, and he's healthy at the start of the season, one of the NFL's most unstoppable guys against the Saints' new put together interior defensive line. That's a hell of a test, man. That's what I'll be paying attention to. All right. Thank you, Slim. Slim said, absolutely. All right. Mark says, can't wait for the Lions-Chiefs games. Lions went on the road. Yeah, I like Campbell. That's one of our old guys, man. Always cheer for our ex-coaches, man. He's doing a hell of a job with the Detroit Lions, too. His gritty temperament fits the blue-collar nature of the Detroit Lions. So they made a really good, smart decision, the Ford family, by getting Campbell up there. He's a gritty coach, smart coach, though, one of Peyton's acolytes who understands the offensive dynamic, but he's gritty. It's like he's a former tight end. He has that gritty tight end type mentality. He's a good communicator. I love his personality, man. And he was a guy that we really liked a lot down here. So when he got his opportunity in Detroit, he took Aaron Glenn up there with him. I knew it'd be a matter of time for him to put together a decent Detroit team, and they are really making some strides. And in essence, I think the NFC North, I think that'll be. They talk about Green Bay, and Jordan Love looked pretty decent in the preseason. I still don't think it'll be the Vikings. I'm picking Detroit to get that division. I'm going to go with Detroit. I think Campbell gets them the NFC North this year. I think Minnesota could be second with Green Bay, then followed by Chicago. Well, Chicago's in there too, but I don't know. I mean, the Chicago done some stuff, but every year it's this big push about Chicago finally saying, oh, they Justin Fields this and Justin. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on that, because they were trying to trade the man prior to the draft, and all of a sudden they all about loving on him now. So Chicago's kind of up and down, but I really think Detroit's ready to make a step in the NFC North. So I think they'll be the team to watch out for. All right. Tuck says, I think Titans had number one run defense last year, so Carr might need to be slinging it. Yeah, you got to get that timing right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to get that timing right. Young City says the Hot Boys and BG is back. I don't know, man. He don't seem mad at Baby, man. All the other people know that Baby stole from him, man. They know when you go into business with Baby Williams, he gonna end up stealing from you. It's just what it is. He got sued by Manny Fresh. Finally, Manny Fresh sued him. Lil Wayne had an issue with him with the money. Juvenile, I believe, was the first one, but Juvenile was older, a lot older than them other guys. So he had his business, and Juvenile is a really smart businessman. He always got something cooking. He never hurting for paper or nothing. Juvenile really smart and wise, business-wise, really talented. And I think he was the first one, if I'm not mistaken, that kind of knew the money wasn't right, Then I think Turk fell out with him. So eventually all of them fell out with him over the money, but the cash money thing could have carried on a little further if the man didn't have these gritty street way of doing, this underhanded street way of doing things. He could have probably prolonged that, because he had a little juggernaut for a moment before people start counting their money and saying, hold on, I'm short here. Oh, man. But is it really his fault or your fault? You're supposed to be keeping track of your paper. You know what time it is out here. You wrapping all that shit on tape. Like you the big boss, and it turns out that you just talking. You ain't really who you saying you are. So anyway, yeah, man, instead of buying them expensive ass chains, maybe you should have bought an attorney or somebody or a CPA to make sure your paper's straight. But anyway, yeah, it's just it's just par for the course. Shout out to Tyrone, man. Appreciate you being here as well. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, this is going to be interesting, man, for the black and gold moving forward because it's going to be fun. It's almost time for football and the Big Easy. I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait either. And man, it's going to be so fun moving forward. So anyway, like I said, later on in the week, family, we'll get an opportunity to bring in some of these, bring in a Tennessee Titan podcast to kind of preview the Titans and the Saints matchup. That'll be later on in the week. Thursday will be our Saints United day when we'll have shout out to my boy Teal and his wife. They had a baby. That's why he wasn't on there for the family members that know. Shout out to my brother Teal. He had another, I think he had a son. So he had another baby. So congratulations and shout out to Teal and his family. He got a new Who Dat into the family. So we'll see the Who Dat, brother Randolph and the Who Dat, Keeping It Real Who Dat podcast. Teal and the Nola Bros, shout out to them, and also my dog Hoodie. All of them will be on Thursday's Saints United stream, so that'll be tomorrow to enjoy that as well. So it'll be fun. All right, so anyway, with that being said, Slim asked the question. He says, what do y'all think about Alontae Taylor at slot cornerback? I expected, my brother. I was kind of saying that before the preseason happened. Well, the training camp happened. People were saying, Q, what do you think about the slot cornerback? Actually, what do you think about Alontae Taylor? I think Alontae Taylor, and they were telling me that Alontae Taylor is going to beat Paulson Adebo and take his job. And I told him, no, he's not. I said, no, he's not. And I said, because the slot position is a position, and you remember Alontae Taylor is a second-round draft pick. He could play the slot. He could play outside, and he could play safety. So the Saints drafted him with that versatility, so if they needed to move him around, they can. But Alontae Taylor was drafted to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I kept telling people that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson slot position in that modified nickel is very big for Dennis Allen's defense. That guy is very important, meaning, not just the Chauncey Gardner, his role or what he did for the Saints in that role. That is what Alontae Taylor will be tasked with doing. He will have that role. So that guy is a guy that has to cover. And then when the time comes, he has to blitz. He had to go up in there and handle his business blitzing and go and get the quarterback or whatever, cover guys coming out of there, whatever. And that's a very popping position in Dennis Allen's modified nickel defense. So when that happened, I was like, that's Alontae Taylor all day, because they're not going to move Paulson Adebo because you're not going to flip flop him. That'll be to your detriment, because Adebo, unless he's playing really bad, which I knew he wasn't because he was suffering. He had that sophomore slump. He went through that. Now remember, his Alontae Taylor's time now. He going into his sophomore year. And players, sometimes some do it a lot more. A lot of players go through the slump. So you got to remember that, to be patient with these guys, because prior to that, when we drafted Paulson Adebo out of Stanford, there was these Richard Sherman comparisons. Remember all that about how his body's made up, how physical he plays the game. And Paulson Adebo did a damn good job in training camp and in preseason. And then when it came down to it, he kept his job. And Alontae Taylor is now the slot man. I said that. I was like, man, that's what it's going to be. But he's going to be fine in the slot, bro, to be honest with you. He's made for that position. He's a tall, physical cornerback that is a great open field tackler. He doesn't have any problems going, if you blitz him, if you need to blitz him. He's a cornerback he's a cornerback. He has cornerback speed, has really good speed. He has a great attitude. He's really intelligent. And then he's physical. And then it's almost like he's a cornerback, but he has a safety makeup about him. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's going to be fine in that slot position, bro. He's going to be great. Yeah, I think he's going to be awesome there. All right, Capman, he said, I think Birdman was just young and not disciplined. Yeah, it might be, bro. But, a lot of people, even when he got older, he was still doing the same thing. It ain't nothing new, bro. If you come from the streets like the Birdman and some of these other guys, P got accused of doing the same thing. They had guys that was suing Percy, saying the same stuff that he was doing. They said the same thing. Like one dude say something, then the next dude say something, then the third dude say something, and then you in court. And then Manny Fresh sued you for him, and then it was a whole interview he did where his money wasn't right. And sometimes I'm saying, bro, that's on you. If you got teammates on your label or whatever you want to call them, label mates, and each one of them are leaving with disputes about the guy and money, and then you ain't checking your money while they saying my money's short, that's on you, bro. You got to wait. When the first dude came, when Juvenile bust that move, you should have been looking at your pocket then. But he might have been paying him right then and probably peeling off his money to give it to him like it was a pyramid scheme or something. You never know how they was operating, man. You just got to know who to do business with. You don't do business with people. You have to, and even if you do, you still got to be paying attention to your paper. You got to make sure your money right. You got to pay attention to the contracts. You can't be so contract thirsty that you out there just signing deals to get on, man. You don't do that. And that's why I be cautioning people too in the game, because a lot of times it's the economics. It's economic depravity going on. There's a lot of poverty going on. It's a lot of that going on. So it's a lot of desperation energy there. People just do whatever to get on, and then they later regret it. So it's a tough measurement, but at the same time, you got to be smart about your business, man, if you're going to do business with people. And even if you're not versed in that, try to see if you can get some gain from somebody that is, or get another pair of eyes to look at the agreements to make sure the money's right and all this kind of stuff, before you just jump head first into something and then you end up having a bad deal, So that's on them. If you got two other guys saying my money's short, and then you 4 guys later, you talking about, hey, my money's short too. Now that's way later, man. That's on you, man. You been warned. All right. Anyway. Okay. Ramsey, shout out, fam. So just celebrated my 5th. Shout out to Ramsey, man. And happy belated birthday to my boy Ramsey. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, sir. Much love. Tuck says that's valuable. It's a very valuable position when you find the right play. Yes, absolutely. Alontae Taylor, I was telling people, that's why Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was pissed. When they drafted Alontae Taylor, he knew the writing was on the wall. But the crazy part about it was the Saints wanted both of them, because if Alontae, let's say, and I always visit this because that's how close it was for the Saints and him to be here, because he wanted to be the highest paid nickel in the game. I think the Saints were up to like $4 million or whatever it was. I think it was $3 million or whatever it was. I forgot, man. I did shows on. I forgot the total. Y'all remind me in the chat. But he got close. And they were like $1 million apart on what he wanted. And then Dennis Allen just pulled the rug from up under him and said, let's get him out of here, and traded him for 3 bags of Skittles and a half drunk Coke drink. He just got him out of here for nothing. And even to this day, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson still hasn't been able to collect the multi-year deal that he's been looking for. He hadn't been able to get it. So had he chilled and pulled the Eric McCoy, because McCoy and him had the same thing going on, they were there at the same time. If he'd have just played it cool and did what he did, not held out in camp, went and did everything he did, the Saints would have gave him an agreement. They would have gave him a deal, and he would still be out occupying the nickel position. And Alontae Taylor would more than likely been a safety. So it could have changed the dynamics of the Saints secondary greatly, man. Could you imagine that? So you might not have seen somebody, they might not have been here because we might not needed them, or it would have definitely changed things in the Saints secondary, but it is what it is, right? All right, brother Dedrick, shout out to you. Say, what's up, Q? It's been a while, man. Yeah, shout out to you, Dedrick. You right on time, bro. We getting ready for some football, baby. So absolutely, shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you. All right, so anyway, with that being said, we're gonna get ready to get out on that, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all feel free to check out the WhoDatDaily.com, all the great articles that's over there covering our Saints, our Pelicans, boxing commentary, all that's all available. I know I was supposed to do a boxing show on Tuesday, fam. I promise you. That's why I'm late on today's show. I had a lot of stuff going on. What tomorrow is? Thursday. Let me try to say this. I'm gonna try to fire, because I wanted to do something for Friday, but more than likely it'll probably be Friday, because I got Tough Tiger Talk stuff to do for Saturday with LSU plays, and then Sunday is the game. So Friday it'll be Ring Kings Boxing on the Ring Kings Boxing channel. We'll cover all the latest stuff. We'll talk about some of the articles from WhoDatDaily.com. Of course, you see the one right here with Devin Haney and Regis Prograis from New Orleans, the champ, who's setting up to go against Devin Haney. This is supposed to be set for later on this year. We'll cover all that stuff, man, and we'll take messages and perhaps open up the phone lines and all that kind of beautiful stuff coming down. So y'all just be patient with me, and I'll more than likely make it for Friday. We'll get in there for about an hour or so and talk about boxing on Ring Kings Boxing. Tuck says, where's Chauncey now? Detroit. We'll love to see him in the NFC Championship. Indeed. Yeah, he is. Like I said, man, that'd have been really interesting if the Saints if he'd have just played it differently. And it'd have been a really nice looking secondary, man, but like I said, when Chauncey got into his feelings, man, and he let that spoil his business. His feelings got in the way, and that just ruined it. And the Saints just cut. It just gave the Saints more of a reason just to get rid of him. And they didn't get rid of him for nothing. They got rid of, nothing, really nothing for him, and just kept it pushing. And then we roll right to Alontae Taylor, and Alontae Taylor says, yeah, I'm here now. Let me see what I can do. Because remember, Alontae was working and getting reps while Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was chilling. Because Chauncey did that to himself. He stopped going to practice during that time, and Alontae Taylor was in there getting it. And then he would start practicing, halfway pulled himself out. They kept Alontae Taylor in there. Saints still was working with him. Then they got up to a point where enough is enough. I remember Bob came on and said that Chauncey was being a poison in the locker room. He was dropping some game on us about Chauncey Gardner in the locker room. Saints just said, let's get rid of this guy. We already got his replacement in building already. That's cheaper, younger, with a higher ceiling. Man, let's keep it going. Let's go. And that's what they did. So anyway. All right. So anyway, L-Dub says, don't worry, we'll be playing against Chauncey Gardner. Absolutely. Yeah. So he should be ready for that game. He'll be talking this mess, man, and he'll have a hell of a time with what we got. I'll tell you what, Tuck said there's a lot of fields between the Lions, Saints right now. Paths may cross in the playoffs. Like I said, I think the Lions are going to win the NFC North. I really do. I think they are ready. And despite the fact that they got rid of, they stupidly let Jamal Williams go, that's going to bite them in their butt. But they did draft some guys up there. They do like their running back from, and they do have a Sean Payton type mentality there with Campbell there. I like the grittiness, man. I think Detroit, like I said, I like Detroit to take the North this year over Minnesota. I think Minnesota takes a step back. I think Detroit takes it. I think Chicago's still not there yet, and I think Green Bay probably will be right before Chicago. I wouldn't be surprised if you flip-flop that. Chicago might be better than Green Bay. Love played a lot better, but a lot of people got Green Bay as the bottom in the NFC. But we'll see how it all shakes going forward, man. But yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. Appreciate y'all, man, as usual. For the family members who want to get on the Fantasy League, remember, the deadline is Thursday. Remember, the Thursday night football game is somewhere, I think it's 7 to 6 o'clock, depending on what time, area you're in the country. But the Fantasy League is set up for, I'm sorry to be doing it that early, but it'll be like 1 p.m. on that Thursday. It'll be, there's several, maybe 12 or so slots left. So if you want to get in the Fantasy League, join the email list, or if you're a Patreon member, there's always been a message that's already been sent to you guys with a link and all the information you need to sign up for the Fantasy League. The email, family members, it's been sent to you already. The YouTube membership family, check the community section. That information is there right now for you if you want to sign up. Remember, it's first come, first serve for the Sports Coma Fantasy League. $100 to the winner of the Sports Coma Fantasy League. Nothing for the runner-up. You got to win it. $100, no sign up, totally free. So if you're a Fantasy League guru, this is your opportunity to join the Sports Coma Fantasy League, man, right now. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day tomorrow, man. We'll pop back up here for Who Dat United tomorrow. Started off with the NOLA Bros, preceded by my boy Hoodie and Randolph from the Keeping It Real Who Dat podcast. Once again, much love to the fam. I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side. Who Dat? Much love.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who dat. I'm a who dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a who dat. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Something like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That.